Now, of course, we also want to talk a little bit about the future. And I mean, some decisions were still left to be made this year, I suppose, mainly where you guys would land. Now, we had an interview before with Vala, and she publicly, on our interview, expressed interest in signing you specifically. So, did you trial for Paris and did you receive an offer?
Yeah, Avala came to me at the beginning of the season and she was like, "We're interested in you. Would you sign for the minimum salary? And then if you do, you don't have to do tryouts." And I said, "I don't want to sign right now. I know many teams are interested in me, so I'm okay to do tryouts. And we'll see in the future, right?" Um, but yeah, I did try out for Paris Saint-Germain.
Were there other teams that you would like to talk about that were interested in you? How many offers did you have?
Not that many actually. Like off tank is such a difficult position, especially in Overwatch 2. We don't really know what's going to happen. And there's like so many Korean teams that I cannot join. Um, and off tank that are already signed. So you have to decide like what are my possibilities, right? Because even though you're doing tryouts for many teams, most of them are gonna like use you to do tryouts because they're not interested in you, but they need 6 people to do the tryouts. So you try to see on who could be a potential team that will want you and who will want to use you for like just fill the screen. But yeah, I think mostly Paris and London like offer me a real offer.
Right. Now, it is it coincidental that you're following Chris to London, or is that something that you considered in your position?
No, I mean I consider everything. Like for me, the top three thing is gonna be, do the team has a good coaching staff? I think it's gonna be really important, especially in Overwatch 2, because the game is gonna be so new. So we need some big brain coaches, and I know Chris is one of them, and I can trust him on that. Is the organization good? Like, are they good to their players? Do they do some shady stuff or stuff like that? And is the roster that I'm gonna play with a good roster? Do we have some chance to win some games? And can we do some stuff like even though it's on a different game? So like you do a little mix of three, and London came way ahead for me.
Right. Can you maybe talk a little bit about, because in my mind, and maybe this is completely wrong, and I've talked to Chris a lot, but for me, like his ability to sort of like navigate social situations and probably build like a structure is probably one of his strengths.
Yeah.
Theoretically speaking, in my mind, you can't be a master of all. Is he therefore a little bit weaker on the strategical side in comparison to other coaches?
No, yeah, he is for sure. I mean, he's really smart at the game. Like he played it like professionally before, and his coaching is really good. Like you're gonna. I mean, he never was a head coach, right? Donc
Yes.
every time KDG or Kirby or like anybody will tell him you do that, and he'll do it like perfectly, and everybody was like, "Wow, that was some great coaching. We understood everything, and that was fast, and we learned from it." And yeah, like you said, he's really good at being with the players. Like he's always funny and like joking around. So he's creating a team atmosphere that is really important. So yeah, I think he's gonna be a really good head coach. And I've trusted him. Yeah.
Right. Now, I guess, logically speaking, considering it's not like the off tank role just fell away. It's hard by definition to say that. It's just one tank role that fell away. It even looks like a lot of main tanks probably had the short end of the stick this offseason. But was there some anxiety that this reduction of number of tanks would result in like a way harder offseason than you had previously?
At the beginning of I mean, when Overwatch 2 was announced to be a 5 versus 5 and tank was like leftover, I was like, oh, that's really bad news, right? But then I realized that off tank are maybe the more mechanically gifted players. Okay, main tank are the one who are calling more and doing all the strategic part. But I think in a team everybody should be able to call, and I'm not afraid of my ability to communicate in a team. Um, and team anyway are gonna pick up one off tank and one main tank. So when I realized that, I wasn't scared because there is no way that a player can be as good on main tank as and as off tank as someone who specializes in them. So I was like, no, I mean, doesn't really change anything. Maybe I'm not gonna have as much playtime, um, but that's fine for me. I'm not fighting for playtime. I don't care.
Right. Did you have a discussion with Chris and Hardy already, like how you're going to split the hero pool, or are you just like going to be like, okay, Hardy plays the main tanks like the Winston, the Reinhardt, and you're going to play the archetypical off tanks?
No, not yet. I mean, it's so difficult. Like, it's gonna depend on what's the meta, and if there is any new character. I think it's when I don't know. Like, we cannot really talk about that. I guess right now I play off tank and Hadi play main tank. That will make the most sense. But yeah, I mean, we'll see when Overwatch 2 come out and when we start practicing for real.
How does does the game work in your mind if actually the off tank is the only tank? Like, what kind of compositions would you even play?
It'll be really difficult. I mean, like they have to do many changes, right? Like they did to Zarya, the double bubble and stuff like that. Um, but I think it's gonna be a really fast tempo game because what can you do as off tank? Like you're not gonna be able to bubble or matrix your Renard, so you gonna need to fly with Diva and just go dive because I don't think Renard is gonna be good. Renard is just too slow. If you play Renard, you need to play Lucio, and he's gonna commit like 2 character for a composition. I don't think it's good. I think it's gonna be like mostly dive and fast tempo composition, which is a good thing for the game, because people are not interested in shooting shield and like being AFK on the payload. That's not something people wanna do or watch.
We talked to Space before, and the interesting part for him was, and that was admittedly when the news was very fresh, and he was like, well, my role is going to change. I trust myself mechanically to even excel in some other roles if I really put my mind to it. Did you ever think like maybe in Overwatch 2 I won't be a tank player?
Me, not a tank player? No, there is no way. I think like people have too much experience in DPS or healing that I won't be able to catch up. Like, no, I think I have to stay tank. Like, no way I can be better than a Kefster or Ents or people like that on DPS role. Like, that's not something that I will imagine.
Right. Now, of course, you're a pro player in a game that hasn't even launched yet. You really don't know what it's like yet. How do you prepare? What do you do with your time at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea how to prepare, so I just queue rank. I do the little flex roll, and I queue for DPS, heal, and tanks. And I mean, people aren't too happy about me playing some other stuff, but I'm like, I need to practice. Like, even though I know the characters, I never really play them. So it's like learning. Like maybe Doomfist is gonna be tank, maybe Mei is gonna be tank, so I'm gonna play a little bit more of them. Um, and yeah, it's just about the fact that you're gonna need to adapt. So maybe learning some new capacity or new stuff is really cool. So yeah, that's what I do right now. A little bit of fun in ranked.
How is you ranked this time of the year?
It's goddamn awful. People are just one tricking or like dumb characters, and nobody can play that. Like contenders aren't like a thing. Overwatch League is not a thing as well. So it's just a shit show.
Do you meet any other Overwatch League pro players at least there?
Barely. I mean, I'm like 4.4K, right? And I just end up in some master games, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? Like, who is having fun? It's like I'm stealing kids, like food from kids, and I'm like, I'm feeling bad. But at the same time, I'm like, it's not my fault. I have nothing to do here, so don't blame me. I don't know. It's like so weird.
Is there not that urge to just play another game? It's not like that. Theoretically speaking, like missing out on a month of Overwatch when the game is about to change radically is probably not going to be very punishing, right?
No, no, no. I mean, I think that's what most players are doing, right? They're taking a break right now. But I mean, like I said, I took a break the whole season, like the whole previous season. So this is my time to stay warm and be sharp. And when the game come out, I'm gonna pop off and grind it. But I mean, I have nothing else to do. So I guess I just stream and play the game and have fun.
Do you feel you still have the same hunger that you had before you joined the Overwatch League initially?
Yeah. Um, I mean, especially because like when I joined Fusion, they were like the only team who were like interested in picking me up, right? And I feel like this season is kind of the same. Like everybody is sleeping on me. They all forgot about me, and they're like, "Ah, is he even that good? He's 25. He's French." um, so I wanna prove them that they are wrong, and I'm still able to compete at the highest level. And I'm gonna pop off next season. I don't have any doubt on that.
What is your goal with the Spitfire next season? Or let me even hedge that a little more. What's your realistic goal for Spitfire next season?
I just try to win more games than they did last season. But yeah, no, for real. I don't know, because we don't have the highest budget in the league, of course. So it's not like we have like rookies and not really star players. But nobody knows what's Overwatch 2 gonna be. So what's the point of spending like so much money on players that maybe are not even gonna be good at the game? So I really like the team atmosphere. Like we have so many rookies and like really talented players. I think we can do really good.
Then let us finish on a mudslinging question. You said like you don't know who's even going to be good. Is there a role you're looking at that's just going to be not transitioning well into Overwatch 2?
Um, I mean, a lot of people say like main support, right? With like Lucio and stuff like that. Maybe it's gonna be a little tough for them to adapt, but I don't see why they wouldn't adapt. Like if they grind the game, everything is possible. I think everybody is gonna be okay at the game. It's just gonna depends if they play it or not. I think it's gonna be the main key of is somebody gonna be good in Overwatch 2.
On average, which role is the least mechanically skilled of the player base in the Overwatch League?
Oof, that's tough. I would say main tank
Ooh,
because they don't really have to aim, right? Like Winston, you don't need Reinhardt as well. Orisa, it's whatever. Um, so I think main tank is like the least mechanical.
right. How far behind that is main support?
Not too far. Like a little.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you were treated to a great mechanical main support for the last season, so I guess there's a little bias there for sure. But yeah, in general, thank you for the interview. Of course, like hold out in European ranked as bad as it is, and thank you once again.